could be sleeping like a log, but when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright.
Okay,
You know I will
play some Beatles here. A Hard Day's Night. I'm going to turn down the volume. I'm going to try to mix two different threads here on YouTube. One by Dan in Canada, D-H-A-N-Y-C-Z. I can't pronounce that, but Dan in Canada had some interesting questions, and then some questions by MrFartboy79 or Tony. First of all, will you buy different pressings of the same record? No. I'm not really into that because, well, I'm more interested in the music, and so no, with some exceptions, but they are more yeah, they are exceptions. This is one exception that because I've got two different pressings of the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night for some strange reason, and neither of them are original pressing. This is one I'm playing right now in the background, the ordinary sleeve, pressing from the 80s or late 70s probably. Quite normal, not that hard to find, nothing special. And then I have the Soviet pressing of A Hard Day's Night. You see the sleeves, the colors are a bit different, and the sleeve design is a bit altered, and also the number of songs is altered because two of the songs from the original album has been removed on this one. It's When I Get Home and let's see now, and I know 2, 3, 4, 5. No, it's When I Get Home. It's not on this Soviet version. Don't ask me why, because I have no idea. Okay. Sometimes you find that the same record has been released with different sleeves and maybe even on different labels, so you can buy it for that reason. I mean, I've Live at the Rainbow by the Dutch band Focus was released on Polydor with one sleeve in one country, and I don't recall the other record company right now, but with a completely different sleeve. So then I made the mistake of buying both of them because the sleeves were different. And I have a Swedish example of the same thing. There's a Swedish dancing orchestra, light pop group called Magnus Quintet, and they mainly made EPs and singles for Philips in the mid-60s. But then later some compilation albums were released, and first this one was released on Sonora, which by then was a sub-label to, or budget label to Philips. And then it's this one where it says only Magnus, and this was released on Fontana. It says 1966 on the label, but I think it's from the early 70s, because on the flip side you can see listed records that I know was released in like the 72, 73. This is from 1966-67 though. So the songs on these two are exactly the same, so it is the same record but on different labels and with different sleeves. So that's different pressings, and the rest is a bit different too, but the songs are the same. Okay, choose your top 5 most depressing albums. Well, I can't do that because I don't get depressed by listening to music, not even the real sad music. I may get depressed from other things in society, and sometimes you don't feel that good, but not from listening to music, so I'll skip that one. What are your most anticipated upcoming releases? Well, I got 2 ones, and one of them isn't upcoming because it was released 2 days ago, but I haven't got hold of it yet. It's Ron Sexsmith's latest album, Long Late Bloomer, and I've been a big fan of Ron Sexsmith's songwriting for the last 10 years, well, more than that, 12, 13 years or so. And then I've been a big fan of Paul Simon for almost 30 years now, so he's releasing a new album soon, So Beautiful or So What, in April. I look forward to that too. Okay, those are the answers to the questions by Dan in Canada. Move over to MrFartboy79. Musical tastes is my collection more mainstream or indie? Well, first of all, what is indie? Well, I think it's quite mainstream, but with some obscure elements, and it's, well, the rest of the question is it important? No, it isn't important whether it's mainstream or indie, because, well, no, I don't think it's important. The vinyl community, will it grow? Well, it depends on how active the members are, or will be. I'm trying to do my part here, and hopefully somebody will find it a bit interesting. Whose collection do you admire most? Well, I can't really pick a single one because they're all so different, and there are elements in everybody's collection that I feel, well, I'd like to have that. But I can't pick a single one. Pick an album that takes you back to a point in time. What does it remind you of? One moment. Okay. Don't Boo, Cabaret, the soundtrack to the movie with Liza Minnelli. Because when I was a teenager, I was part of a theater class, and we really loved each other. We had great fun together, and we worked hard together too. And as our exam work, we put up our version of Cabaret, the musical. I played the Jewish fruit seller, and I also played in the orchestra quite a lot, bass and guitar, and we really cried when we walked on different, when we left each other when it was all over. 2 years later, we all met at the home of our beloved teacher Harry Nyman, and we sat in his son's bedroom. Many of us from the old class talked old memories. Old, 2 years old, but felt old then. We listened to this album and had a great time. Now we had a new reunion 2 years ago, well, 1.5 years ago, and we've had small reunions since then, thanks to Facebook, because we've managed to find each other after all these years, and I'm so happy about that. Alas, we couldn't bring our old teacher Harry Newman to the reunion because he passed away the week before we were supposed to have our reunion. So I think about him as well a lot when I listen to this, and my old friends from school. Not that I'm a real big fan of the musical, but it brings back great memories to me. Okay, name an album you hated at first, but stuck with, and now you love it. It's quite difficult to say. Maybe I would pick the compilation with Lars Holmer, the Swedish musician, that I first thought, well, what is this? And then, well, I love it. But I haven't got a compilation album with him on vinyl, so I thought, well, but my girlfriend introduced me to one of the great stars a singer called Kalsum. And first when I thought was, well, I had the same thought as many others when hearing this kind of Arab music. This sounds horrible. But then when I started listening more deeply and hearing the style and getting used to it, well, I thought, well, this is well, not good, but interesting. And then later I started listening a bit more, and I thought, well, I kind of like this. And well, nowadays I love Kalsum. And I bought this album and I listen to it not that often, but when I do, I love it. Kalsum. Okay, name a band or a performer you dislike but can deny their importance to rock and roll music. I guess they mean can't deny. And well, Michael Jackson. I don't dislike Michael Jackson. No, that's wrong to say, but it's not the kind of music I find interesting. And even though I like his early work with Jackson 5, but I can't deny that he's great. Then another name from the old days that he has been very important to the development of rock and roll music, but I don't find his music interesting. It's Chuck Berry. Yeah, I would pick Chuck Berry there. He's been very important to rock and roll music, but I don't dislike him either, but I don't find his music interesting. It doesn't grab me. Okay, now I've answered 2 threads in one video. That's it.